Hey everyone. So I wanted to welcome you first to the BUMS.AI setup. We're going to be setting up an entire roofing CRM that's going to blow the socks off of your AccuLynxes, your RoofLynx, your JobNimbuses, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you that are thinking of keeping those systems, but want to add more to the front end and back end for the customer communication and marketing, it's easy to match the two up. But the first thing you're going to do when you join BUMS.AI or GoHighLevel, hopefully through our affiliate links or our original links, which should be below. If not, go to BUMS.AI. But what you're going to do is you're going to be invited to this page. Once you get to this page from your email, it says, hey, come here. It's going to ask you to set your password. Go ahead and set it, and you're here. The very first thing you're going to notice, and the screens change from time to time, you're going to want to just scroll all the way down to the bottom and find the settings tab. And you're going to click the settings. And this is super basic, but it was worth the video because it is important, because if you don't do it right, it creates longer problems. So I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know. Number one, your location ID doesn't change. That's your location ID. If you actually scroll up here in your URL, you're going to see it right here as well. Then what you're going to do is you're going to upload your logo. So wherever your logo is, you can find your logo. So let's just drop this logo in here. I do suggest to follow the sizes that they recommend. It does work better. Go ahead and make sure your legal name is exactly like it is on your, I would suggest using your W-9. Take a look at that and actually copy it, right? Same with the business email, same with the phone number. Try to match those up. Sometimes things change. Go ahead and add your website. We'll talk about branded domain later. Here, roofing niche, your business niche is going to be roofing. Here's your API key. Now I've already generated mine. You're probably going to see a blank in your case. So if I wanted to generate an API key, I would just tell it to do it. In this case, it's asking me to reset it. I have an API key, which I'll reset later, but I can copy it to my clipboard very easy. You can see that it copied. This is very important. This API key is how you're going to potentially connect your company cam or the complicated things that BUMS.AI we do for you, or if you use like Zapier or something. So if you make an API key, do not change the API key unless you are willing to lose those connections. And this is something people do by accident. And it's something I want to warn you about is don't change it unless you have to. And there's good reason. All right. Now, as you go down, you're going to have this option to select what kind of corp you are, what kind of business you are. Make sure you select that appropriate thing. These, by the way, are going to help you get your phone number to be able to text for your business. It's something new. Businesses have started texting, as you have seen over the years. And it's very important that you're able to text and send messages out, but it's very important to get the qualification to do it. It's not automatic. They say it could take up to 2 weeks. Generally, you can get this done within 24 to 48 hours, but this information matters a lot. Same with, like we said here, your business legal name. So as you come down, you're going to put in what kind of business you are. Most roofing companies, I would select retail. For most of you that are registered properly, you're going to be USA or Canada. You're going to pick that. You're going to put in your ID. If you're not a business that's registered, you're running as a sole proprietor, you're doing something that's not actual corp, you can do by business not registered. That will make it a little more difficult for you to get approval for the phone line, but you can get approved. So don't let that freak you out, but it is a good thing to know that. Pick where you operate. For most of us, it can be USA and Canada. This basically is going to let when they go subscribe to your phone number or whatever, let it know what qualifications have to be met based on that market. So you're going to go ahead and update it. Now, for someone like my business, BUMS.AI, Boss Up Solutions, we're located in Guadalajara, Mexico. You can see in the background, you can see where I'm at. So for me, I'm in Mexico. So would I select Mexico? No, I wouldn't, because my operation, my customers are you in America and Canada. So for me, USA and Canada is appropriate. My business is registered in USA. So it's appropriate, but you have to figure that out for yourself, what's important there and how it works. This is important here. I'm going to show you these two yellow tabs. From time to time, and it's very important, this is why I recommend people using an agency and being on a retainer with them to be able to operate the system, because high level will make changes and they're usually for the better. But every change, as soon as it happens, is not necessarily easy, or maybe conflicts with something, or changes your SOP, or changes this video. This video will get dated when these things change. When you see these things, that's why they're there. And it just means the voicemail settings moved, the SMS moved, not a big deal. But just realize if you go online and you look for a video or you download a tutorial, sometimes you'll be like, that's not what I see. Yeah, high level does a lot of updates. It's actually a really good thing. For someone like me on the agency side, it's a pain, to be honest, but we manage it for all you guys so you don't have to worry about it. Scroll back up, make sure you have your business address. Now, when I say business address, I want you to match, at least in the beginning, until you get your phone number approval. I want you to match your EIN wherever it's registered. Do not use your brand new address that isn't registered yet. Use the correct address. So go ahead and match your address, pick your time zone. For the outbound language, this one you'll have to select. You're going to want to pick English in most cases. And if you say, I speak Spanish, and that's a better option, I understand you speak Spanish. My question then becomes, will your customer speak Spanish or English? And that's how you decide that, right? So that's what you want there. You want to update that. It's a little goofy to add these updates in these fields, but then you're going to see in a little bit, they're not going to have the update high level. Here, you're going to make sure you put in your information, your contact information, or the CEO's information, or whoever is the authorized rep. This is a person who's going to be contacted about anything related or receive information that's more private and not going to go out to all your admins. So put in the right information here. As you go here, this is very important, your general section, right? And I think it's very important to set this up very correctly at the beginning. Allow duplicate opportunities. I do not suggest this. You can do this. I believe it was JobNimbus I used to do, where you can have contacts or opportunities. This is where that will come in, where if a contact like Latif has 8 homes in Chicago, then you would be able to create a Latif 1, Latif 2, Latif 3. Sounds good. It doesn't work the way you think. I don't like it. I do not allow duplicate opportunities. Also, it separates the opportunity from a email versus a Facebook versus whatever. So I don't like it. Merge Facebook contacts. The next thing I'm saying, this is basically taking a Latif who visits your website and he fills out a form. And Latif, when he visits your Facebook, it says a DM, it brings them together. So you want to match them. Now, it's not 100%. It tries to identify first name, last name, certain information, but it helps to merge, and you can manually merge them as well in the future, but you want that. So you're not sending out, hey, Latif, I got 4 emails from you today. If you guys have been in the industry long enough, a lot of these conventions that we go to, a lot of them, you get an email, and I would get like 30 emails from women. I'm like, dude, bro, what are you doing? Sending me all those emails. Send me one. And it's because they have all these different like contacts, right? So you don't want to do that. It's irritating. This is very important, even though it seems simple, you want to do that. Disable contact time zone. This means that if I book and I'm in Central Time and you are in East Coast, my booking is going to show up as Central Time Zone. This disables my time zone. For most of us, for most all of you that are operating in one time zone, do not disable this. Bot detection. This helps because what it does is it will keep your stats good. And right here, you can see what it does, but it also will keep where the bots start talking to each other and things like that. So it's just something that I recommend turning on. Mark emails as invalid due to hard bounce. Yes, you pay a fraction of a penny for emails. Don't keep sending it to the wrong place. The other reason you don't want to send it to the wrong place is like you keep knocking on the door that's not going to open. So why do you keep doing it? So just check that off. There's no common sense reason to me to not turn that on. And I think it should just be an automatic, but I think it just does that for whatever reason, right? So maybe you spell boss up solution and not solutions, right? Just going to let you know it's invalid. You can correct it. Your executive assistant can correct it, things like that, and make sure it's good. Gather intelligence or unknown phone number. If I'm going fast, guys, and people watching, guys, gals, there's speed buttons below. Hit the little gear icon, change the speed, make it faster, make it slower. This content's important. Find your speed. I do it all the time. I'm a 2X guy all the time, so you figure out, if I'm talking too fast, too slow, etc. Gather intelligence. This is basically getting their caller ID essentially. So I like that. It does charge you. I wanted to let you know it charges you like a fraction of a penny. And it's well worth it. I think I spend maybe $1 extra a month to keep that feature on. I don't see why I would refuse to turn that on. Verify email address when first sent. This is going to go ahead and charge you a very small, you can see right here, 0.0025. So why do we want to check this? Oh, let's see if I don't want to pay the extra penny or extra fraction of a fraction. But you want to do this because email is going to be very important in your marketing. We're going to show you how to generate a lot of customers with that. But to do it, if your email doesn't end up in the inbox, it's useless. And one of the things a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they start sending email out and then all of a sudden they're in the spam box, right? Or they get penalized from a higher thing where Gmail or some of the carriers don't even accept your email. You want to go ahead and keep this on. This is going to lower the probability of that happening by making sure you're sending it to appropriate inboxes. in email is like a credit score. You're building it up and up, and you want to, the more you do, you could send it out. At this stage, I could probably send out, I don't know. I think the most I've sent out is 60,000 because that's what's on my list. But you could probably send out 100, 200,000 with this once you grow. But if you don't, you're going to never get to that point. You're going to be like, Latif, why is my emails not going out? I bought the system and I can't get the emails to work and spend this money. The very first time I send out an email for, I forget, 30,000 people roughly, I think it probably charged me. I mean, it was a bigger amount. It was right, $30 or something, but I never spent it again. And then it does it every new email that gets added. It just verifies it. It also keeps you from getting those spam emails that are filling out your forms and things like that. So keep that in here, right? SMS compliance has moved. We were talking about these features. No big deal. We'll work on that later. Currently, this account doesn't have a phone line, so we need to work on that later. Here you see this. This is already checked on most likely, but go ahead and make sure it is checked on. This is that unsubscribe detail on your button. That's going to make sure that you, on your emails, it's going to make sure you stay compliant. Again, compliance is key for email deliverability. Don't worry about the few leads. You're like, yeah, but if I do that, I'm not going to be able to get it and send it out to as many people. Don't worry about it. If they don't want to hear from you, they don't want to hear. Go ahead and keep that on, right? Allow duplicates. This is going back to this feature here. We could allow duplicates. I don't suggest it. We talked about that earlier. These are two deprecated features. These two features I don't recommend turning on unless you have a reason to turn them on. There's been new additions. I think they keep them in there from like a historical standpoint or whatever. Do not turn them on. Be sure you hit the updates on everything that you can. And I would probably refresh my page and make sure it's good. So we're done with our register. That honestly, I was talking, you guys can probably get that knocked out in 90 seconds to 2 minutes, right? Literally should be easy. And this page stays. Remember when I told you about the API key before we move on? Do not regenerate this unless you have a very good reason to do it. So now you're going to go to billing, and in billing, you're going to add your payment method. For those of you that subscribed and purchased the system, your card's probably going to already show up in here. But what you're going to do is if you need to change your card, there'll be options here, things like that, but put in your card information here. This is what's going to pay those emails and pay for those phone calls and pay for those text messages. Look, some people get scared about that sometimes. So I do want to stop and pause for a second and mention this. For me, when I send my emails out and I send out my information, 6,000 people, et cetera, and I think I'm a high volume user, I spend about an extra 45 hours a month between texts, emails, things like that. So it's not anything to be scared of, guys. Phone time, that's what you use it for. My phone bill's probably another $40, right? So, I got under 100 hours worth of expenses for that. I'm happy with it. I have no problem. It's actually pretty much in line with every carrier out there. My staff. When I go to my staff, I'm going to add my employees. I've added myself here, as you can see on that one, but you're going to add your employee. Here's what you need to know. Pretty common sense stuff here. Advanced settings, you could preset their password if you'd like. I do that on my side. We have a lot of executive assistants that join the BOSS side that help roofing contractors with their day-to-day tasks. For them, I like to set it because I have a SOP that really says, here's your temporary password, like BOSS1234, log in, and then go ahead and change it, right? You're able to set your signature. You can go through these, but what's very important here that I want you to look at is this: admin and user. Your admin should be you, the person who's in charge of setting up high level, the owner of the business, and even sometimes the owner of the business, in some cases, might not be a good idea because it might mess things up. And that's the truth. And you might want to flip them back. You could change it later, but you might keep them as a user temporarily and switch to an admin later. But admins are going to have access to a lot more information. This here shows you what data you see. So if you have the sales team, salespeople showing them each other's information, sometimes not good. So you can set it where they only see their assigned data. And then you could set it for another person to show all records. If your executive assistant should see everything. So you're able to set that right there. You're able to go ahead here. And for admin, I suggest keeping everything on that it goes ahead and suggests. And slowly but surely, you could turn things off in time. And we'll go through that in our roofing setup as we do it. But if you wanted someone to not have access to this page, they're an admin, but I don't want them on this page, you could turn it off, or you could turn off the micro like this part or that part. And you can see all the different things that allows you to set different features in. So you can actually manage quite a bit. One of the things with this, when you do finish this, it's not like I do this for every single salesperson, I do this for everything. Not really. What you can do is just copy permission. So what I like to do is create Johnny, and Johnny's my salesperson. And look, there's no membership fee for additional users. That's another beauty of BUMS.AI. So what you can do is you can copy and make a salesperson, junior salesperson, sales manager, whatever, like dummy profiles if you'd like. And you can go ahead and do this, right? So you can copy that permission or just copy the permission for the right person and you're good. And you could create another user there. So when you do hit copy permission, it's going to ask me, who do you want to copy? And I have to select a user and I select that other user. That's how that's going to work after you set up your first guy, right? If you're not using certain features, you don't plan on using certificates, you don't plan on using communities, you can easily do that. So that gets you that idea. Moving on to call and voicemail. This one is very important. Right now, we don't have a phone number. Later, we're going to set the phone number for this person. But what we do have is we do have here the settings we want to do. And I'm going to explain these and this is very important. And I feel it's one of the most mistaken features or misused or improperly configured. So I say pay attention to this. Where do you want your calls? So if you're somebody who's going to be on your desk, like your executive assistant, I want it on my app. I want it on my screen. I want it on my monitor. I probably want it on my lead connector, which is the app you can download, which we'll get into later. But I probably want it. And you could go to app stores or either environment, pick lead connector. I don't like my phone number, and I'm going to tell you why. So if a salesperson's receiving a phone call, what it does is when it goes through the app and people are like, look it on my phone, just more control, more whatever. For some of you, this might be a necessity based on your area because maybe you don't have quite the Wi-Fi you need. That's where I'm going to tell you that's the only time I would turn it on. But here's the bad part about it. My customer calls me on this phone and my assistant, Monse, receives a call on her cell phone version. She speaks to him. That call is recorded, transcribed, the works. But now if she decides to go in her phone book and call him back because she missed the call, I have no recording of that call. I have no information what happened after that. One of the things me having been a former roofing company owner, working with dozens and dozens of contractors, ownership for your clients and your customers is key. And I believe it's very important for you to keep this off and actually move your salespeople into the format of no, you will operate from the app. Now, if you have company phones, there you go, maybe. But again, remember, you're still missing that recording portion. So I don't like it. I want to create best practices, right? It's simple enough to say you call from the app, you receive from the app, you text from the app. That's it. Getting into default channel for rings is what do you want it to ring? I like to pick mobile. It's going to ring the other ones because they're up here. I don't know why it doesn't do this, but if you spend more time on web, pick that one. If you spend more time on mobile, pick that one. I like to pick mobile, and there are some settings in Lead Connector later we'll get into, but for now, pick mobile. Web default channel for IVR. This is when it goes in and it tells you press 1 for this, press 2 for this. I don't mess with IVR too much because of AI agents. I feel like you could do that much better nowadays. So I don't think this will be a factor, but I would leave it at the web app. You're recording. So one of the things that I discovered when I was doing this, I was trying to record and upload and I was like, what the heck is happening? The recordings need a certain format and a codec. So to do it properly, I suggest using this thing called voice recorder here. This one right here, onlinevoicerecorder.com. You can record your voice. So welcome to ABC contracting, et cetera, et cetera. I'll make the message simple. This is going to make it simple and it'll let you download the file. If the audio has some background noise, like I have my window open in the back, what you're going to want to do is run it through a program like Descript or some sort of audio cleaner to make it even cleaner if you like. And then what you're going to do is go back and you're going to upload your recording right here. Pretty simple. And you're going to be able to do that. And you hit save. I've made no changes, so I don't need to do that. I haven't even added a real user availability. This is important. Set your business hours for the person. And I like to add an hour to both sides of the day. So if Monse comes in at 8 a.m., I'm going to set her at 7 a.m. and I'm going to go ahead and set her, and she leaves at 4, let's just say I'm going to set her at 5 p.m. And then you can easily go ahead and select all days and set it up that way. You can go ahead and select, they're always available. I'm sorry, I just changed that. I unchecked that. Select hours. I'm going to say they don't work Sunday. They don't work Saturday. Set up your time and teach your team to set up their time. This is not for vacation, but although you could use it essentially, but you wanted to set it up because it's going to create the rules of what should go to AI, what should go to you, what's the follow format for phone numbers, things like that. So I really recommend setting that up. You can see here the meeting location. So if I want to connect my Zoom account, I can do that, which is pretty cool. It's going to ask you to go to Zoom and connect it. If you want to connect the full address, if you're meeting at a physical location. For most roofing contractors, those of you that are getting into our virtual sales program, the Zoom thing might be something you want to look at, but it will connect your Google Meet automatically. So you don't have to worry about that later. Or if it's a phone meeting, you can have that. So you would have that in there. I'm going to wipe that out there. You'll pick your time zone again one more time here. I don't know why it does that, but it's because maybe you're global or national and you have salespeople in a different market, right? Great. No big deal. You got that set up. Calendar configuration. We're going to have a whole video about calendars because calendars are a little intense, but you could here connect your video conferencing to your calendars, but you'll be able to do that in your profile. So don't worry about it. And I'm going to we're still in settings here, as you know. We're going to forward on down to the next thing that I suggest moving to. And you should definitely look at each of these and we're going to get into them more, but I want to jump down to integrations. I'm going to go to integrations and it should look something like this. Now, HighLevel is always adding and removing and whatever different integrations. But what you're going to do is you're going to want to be on the same desktop, the same browser as where you have your logins for these things, because it's going to make it easy. If our team helps you, actually, one of the suggestions to our team is to have you in a Zoom meeting or whenever you give us a remote control of your computer. It's so much easier because, those text this code, text that code is going to take forever. You're going to sign in with your Google and it's just going to ask for permission. It looks a little scary, but it's just saying, hey, can we do everything that this tool needs to do to actually work? I'm going to do that. At that point, what you can't see here is it's going to pop up, and I'll show it to you in another video, but you're going to see your Google My Business part pop up. At that point, you want to set up your Google My Business and link that. Google Reserve is a local service ads account thing. You can go ahead and set that up if you use it. You're going to connect your Facebook. One of the things here, when you're connecting Facebook and Instagram, before you do this, make sure your Facebook and Instagram are connected properly. Make sure Instagram is a business account. Otherwise, you're just going to fight yourself trying to link this and freak out why it's not working. You want to connect this. This is going to allow you to communicate. All these are going to allow you to receive phone calls from Google and track them, receive messages from Google, receive messages from Facebook, receive messages from Instagram. And you're able to deal with all those messages with either your AI agent, which we're going to get into, or with you manually, right? So there is some little caveats with that. We'll get into it later, but you have that. QuickBooks, you're able to connect. I don't suggest when you start to connect QuickBooks until you're really sure how you want to use it. And that's just my recommendation. Wave and Stripe payment portals, I guess so is QuickBooks in a way. You can connect those and it's fine that we connect Stripe on our side and we connect Wave. So you're able to definitely use those. TikTok, this is going to be for posting your videos, things like that, but you're going to have to do this in another place. This is more for your DMs and messages, what have you, right? Your LinkedIn, you're able to connect. Make sure you're logged in the appropriate account. When you're doing this, remember, we're setting up our business. I want to set up my business. There is a place for you to do it yourself. So make sure you don't forget that you're setting up your business, because I can go in here and set up Latif's LinkedIn, but now my company has access to Latif's LinkedIn. I don't want that. I want to set up Latif's LinkedIn on my profile, even though I'm the one doing this, but I want to set up the company here, the company Boss Up Solutions, for example, right? Slack, if you use it, you can integrate that here. I'm not a huge Slack fan. I highly suggest everyone take a look at the Google Chat, Google Meet options. I think they're just easier learning curve, easier use. I feel like when you have people, just make it easy. But again, some people love Slack. Well, great. Private integrations are going to be some things that you might see from setup stuff for you. It's integrations that we do this again through an API key. We'll get to that later. You don't have to worry about conversation providers. It's going to automatically get set. Right now, we don't have a phone number, so you're not going to see it. And the next thing I would tell you is going into labs here. And our team usually does this for you, but there's always upgrades. And like it tells you what the upgrade is. And you decide. And you see here, it says enabling in 36 days. This is what's so great about BUMS.AI and HighLevel. They will send out beta features, but they won't just pop them up on you. They'll have as beta users, whoever's willing, us being one of them for ourselves, to go ahead and turn these on. And otherwise, in 36 days, they're planning to turn it on for everybody. But that's going to give them feedback on it's working, something broke, things like that. So you're not stressed about, oh, great, they pushed this new feature and everything that worked is not broken. And if you work with an agency like ours with BUMS.AI, if there is a reason we need to change an automation or if there is a reason to make some modification, we are doing that for you. So you don't have to worry about it, right? So that's cool. But you can come in here and be like, oh, new color picker. Okay, I'll turn that on. WhatsApp, maybe I don't use it. Most people in the States don't use it unless you have foreign relatives. Or you communicate with, I don't know, your girlfriend in Colombia. But, you decide if you want or don't want that. Enhanced contact, and these are going to change. This is at the time of the proposal, but I love that about HighLevel. They're always pushing out more and more features. And this one here is going to go live in 4 days. So even if I don't turn it on, it'll drop off of here and it'll just automatically be on. So that's another feature that I would do. I would go into brand boards here, and brand boards, I would create so for example, you could pick something if you don't have something. You could get with our marketing company or what have you. I'm going to say go in, and sorry, my screen's blocked by my other computer here, but you see, this is your brand board. Why this is important. When you later if you use BUMS.AI to set you up and you use templates for websites, funnels, emails, etc., it's going to help create those things without you having to go in and do that extra, pick a color, pick a logo, pick a whatever. So go ahead and right here, you can easily just go in and you're going to edit. Now, what I recommend here is go into the right folder, brand boards, for example. So I'm in the folder brand board and I would say upload, and then I go find my logo. So one thing here, it's so easy to upload, but you want to keep your folder structure appropriate. And then when you double click it, it does that. Now it's asking for a square logo. I don't have one right now, so I'm not going to upload that, but you get the idea. For your logo number 2, it's going to be your wide logo, your skinny logo. Then what you do right here, get your colors, and maybe you have blue for your color. Maybe you have, this is the name. So you could say, I would probably do primary, secondary, to be honest. And I'll just use my boss up. Oh, I can't type because I'm not looking at secondary color. I'm going to do boss up's colors here. So I happen to know them, which by the way, if you're a business owner, your marketing person should know this. You should know this. If not, there are these little color picker icon things in Google, whatever, but you want to know because these are your colors. This is your brand. You want to go ahead and did I do that right? Yep, I did. So there's our blue, our primary color. And if I go here, yeah, you could say boss up has this yellow, mustard, orange thing, but no, it's FBC 109. I know exactly what it is. That's what it should be every time, right? And that's what I have it here. If I go to my typography here, you're going to see what font do we use. So we use Montserrat, for example, right? If you want to add a font, you can add our secondary font, for example, is usually Poppins. I know that. If you don't know that, things have clues, right? You want to be as big as Coca-Cola or whatever. They use a particular font. They use a particular color. They use a particular whatever. You should too. This is about you going from being a rookie to being a real business. And it's important to set these things up. So that's why I stress this and I say save board. Now you could create multiple boards, by the way, but I would do that. And I would just go and name that board. If I wanted to see, I have that edit thing and I would just say, this is 3 for success as my sample board. So I'm going to do this and save it. And again, I have to save it and it's already set as a default, but if it wasn't, I would be able to press it. So I hit back and majority of your setup for this part is done. The next thing you're going to want to do is set up your phone number. I'm going to do an entire video about that because phone numbers are a little interesting. It shouldn't be too long, but they are a little bit of a nuance. You're going to want to set up your pipelines. That's going to be very important. Our pipelines is going to be huge. I'm going to give you my suggestions. I'm going to tell you what's important with them. I'm going to tell you what, based on looking at hundreds of CRMs for hundreds of different roofing companies, what I've discovered by working with AccuLynx, Contractors Cloud, RoofLynx, Roofer, you name them, Job Progress, Leap. I mean, things that are probably not even in our industry anymore, to Zohomes, etc. What I find to be best practices. That doesn't mean you have to go with it. That video is going to be very informational. The next thing I would do here, if I go back to settings real quick, is I just look at everything going on here. Now, because I'm doing this as an admin, I'm going to go in and log in as myself here. The other one, I'm going to go in and log in as my temp user. So I'm going to show you real quick what you're going to see. It'll look slightly different, but not a big deal. For that entire setup, you're good. It takes its time because I'm an admin. One thing you're going to see here is my profile. So on my profile, this is where I would go ahead and upload my picture. The picture shows up in different places. It's important. I stress to my staff, you got to have a picture. I see conversations and I don't know who's speaking. I need the picture in there. So put your picture there. make it professional. This might be used somewhere, not your, Tinder post or your Grinder post or whatever you're into. You can set your passwords here. This is for you. This is if you ever give out your passwords. Maybe you have an executive assistant and you had an old one that you replaced. Hopefully you replace them with one of our assistants and you want to sign her out. This is what will sign her out, right? This is where you do that part. And you're going to set your phone number up. This is your cell phone number or your main number. This is where you put in your signature. Include the signature before quoted text and text replies. I don't recommend that unless you have a very small or something. I would not really recommend doing it that way, but you could. So, and then you can actually set you could get a little creative here if you wanted to even put in your badges for your certificates, your approvals, your whatever licenses you have. You can put that in there. Here you can set your passwords, like we said. Here's your two-way email. So it's pretty simple. It lets you set it. I'm going to go ahead and collect my one Gmail account. So I'm going to go into my personal account here. And you see, this is what's asking. Crazy. Just ask for, I say select all. It can have everything. So view your email, send an email. Yes, I wanted to do that. And I go ahead and set that up and it went ahead and did that. This BCC, by the way, this is if you plan to send stuff for your email in Google, you can go set up a BCC where every time you send it out and always use the BCC. By having this BCC in there, you're always sending the email back in. Not really required, but it's something that you could do and that's fine, right? So you go down here now, since I selected my Google, I can go ahead and connect my calendars from my Google. I will connect to Google Calendar. You do not have to connect your personal calendar. You can pick which calendar you want. You can connect you can see here, you got your Outlook, your iCloud, Calendly. I don't recommend Calendly because to be honest, you have Calendly in BUMS.AI. Why would you spend the extra money? I've used it. I don't think it's much better. Back when the Calendly did have more features, but at this stage, I think the one from GoHighLevel and BUMS blows it away. Connect your Zoom or your Microsoft Teams. You're going to set that up here. Hide event details. So I don't want to show date night for everybody, like my personal business, but I want to show unavailable. That's what I would set there, right? Here is again where we set up that meeting location for your profile. So you send out to whatever you want. You want to connect your Zoom, you want to connect whatever. Your meeting location will show up here. This is where you set your hours as an individual. So we did it for the user on our kind of what we set up, but this is also what they could set up under their profile. So you can see what they see and what's happening. And here you can switch to notifications. This one's very important. I'm sure a lot of you, myself, we've subscribed to stuff and it's getting dark out there. So here, let me turn on this light. I don't know if you guys could even see me. I'm already dark enough to, stop connected. So sorry. But what we're going to do here is set up our notifications. Now, my recommendation is I don't want anything text to me. I'm going to use the app. I don't want anything emailed to me. I use the app. So for me originally, I'm just going to turn these guys off. Right? That's how I would keep everything in the app. And here you can read exactly what the notification is. So this takes a few minutes, but once you set it up, it's easy. And you just want to take a screenshot of this for your team and tell them, hey guys, go set up your settings like this. I use something called Scribe How. I would use Scribe How. It's awesome. You could just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and start capturing my screen. I'll show you guys real quick here. And so if I go in here and I say, hey, turn that on, turn this off, because I just did that. You see how it's capturing all my screenshots? It's building me a scribe is what it's called. I'm going to hit complete capture here. And it's going to go ahead and open up a window. It's going to show me my scribe. And this becomes your guide for what you want to do. And then you just edit your comments, turn this on, turn this off. You would just edit it and you have yourself your guide for what you want to do. Right. So I like that very much, that tool. Screenshot will work for something like this. But I mean, the two tools, if you've ever followed anything of mine that I promote like crazy is Bloom. That's your screen record and it's Scribe. Those two tools, I can't live without lately, the Google Suites. Here, you're going to see all your notifications. And then also check this out. What time do you want the summary sent? What time do you want the overdue sent? So you can figure those things out and you go and set them up appropriately. And that's really it. And then we're going to get into a lot more. You can see this menu. This is just a setting menu, guys. There's a lot to it. We're going to walk you through how to set it up the best way for your roofing company. But you can obviously try to let you know what you could do that's different. If you are an SMS person, you're not going to use the app, do this. I try to let you your options, but I'm also going to let you know the best practice because I know it works. We've had this for over 3.5 years at this stage. I've seen who's using it and actually getting a lot from it and who's using bare minimum or nothing and has a membership. And I don't like that. I want you guys to have full use. I want you to really get the most from the system. I wanted to replace an entire hero. I wanted to replace an entire person. I wanted to get to your speed to lead so you get to people quickly so you could close more deals, make more revenue. Look, with your growth comes our growth. It's very important for me, for you to succeed. And whether you get the high level version through us would be great. Whether you're a free onlooker or just using this data, hey, it's there. Or if you're using BUMS.AI and taking advantage of our support, our snapshots, which are basically like our little features that we do, our customer service part, and our ongoing kind of development and our extra features that are not available at high level. Whatever you do, just make sure that you follow our stuff and subscribe to the page at bare minimum and take it from there. So you're able to do that. I lost my train of thought there, but just so you know, there's a lot of things over here that we're going to go through. And it's not hard, but I want you to have the most successful roofing system. I want you to get the most from it. I want you to grow. They say rising tide raises all ships. So whether you decide that it's okay to pay me the $97 instead of paying it at high level, or if you decide that, oh no, I don't like Latif, I want to watch his videos and talk shit about him in public, but I'm going to use and stuff. I don't care. Just, subscribe, share it, share comments how the video could have been better. I'm not trying to make these big catchy videos. I'm really just trying to show you how to set it up, guys. Literally, I just have my monitor set up and the camera set up here, not even camera, a laptop, not going crazy with my Google AirPod or whatever, my earbud over here. I just want you guys to get benefit and hopefully it was informative. Again, be sure to use that speed button on the bottom, and especially for my future videos as we go through, that's going to help you. But you've set everything up. This is great. We are set up. We are good to go. We're going to next move into getting our phone line, and we're going to talk about that stuff in the next video. But hopefully this helps you get started. And depending where you are, these videos will be labeled by number so you can go ahead and follow accordingly. So I wish you the best. Happy roofing. Get those deals. 62%. I read this yesterday. 62% of phone calls are not answered by roofing companies. 62%. I'm sorry, 62% of the industry average. Our numbers show 82%, 83%, which says that we're actually worse than most industries. With this system set up properly, you'll never not get in touch with someone right away, and you'll buy the time using this call text back, AI voice. You will make sure that lead doesn't, all that hard-earned money that you spend on ads to get someone to call you. The last thing you want is for someone to call you because help them decide, oh yes, I want siding, I want roofing, I want a quote, and not be able to service them because they're going to do the same thing I do. They're going to go to the next person on the list and call them. And the person who's below you is going to reap the benefits of your ad dollars. And that's horrible. So don't let it happen. So just so you know, that part's set up and, happy building for those of you that are building. All right. Thanks.